Let me ask you a dangerous question. Who would you trust more, your best friend or your worst enemy? Most people will answer without hesitation. My friend, of course. But history says something very different. Some of the most powerful men who ever lived were not destroyed by their enemies. They were destroyed by the people they trusted the most. Because an enemy expects nothing from you, but a friend expects everything. In the first video, we talked about law number 1, never outshine the master. We explained how your own talent can actually destroy you if you don't use it wisely. I highly recommend watching that video right after this one. Today, we uncover law 2 of the 48 laws of power. Never put too much trust in friends, learn how to use enemies. And by the end of this video, you may never look at friendship the same way again. This law doesn't tell you to hate your friends. It tells you to understand human nature. Power is not built on emotions. It's built on incentives, distance, and control. Friends bring emotions. Enemies bring clarity. Let's begin with a story that proves this law in the most brutal way possible. In the 9th century, a young man named Michael III became emperor of the Byzantine Empire. He was inexperienced, surrounded by conspirators, and terrified of betrayal. So he did what many rulers do when they are afraid. He chose a friend. His closest companion was Basilius, a former peasant who once saved Michael's life by taming a wild horse. Out of gratitude, Michael lifted him from nothing and gave him everything. He made him head of the royal stables, sent him to elite schools, gave him wealth, status, power. Eventually, Michael chose Basilius over far more qualified advisors. And that was his fatal mistake. As Basilius tasted power, something changed. Gratitude turned into entitlement. Loyalty turned into ambition. Michael kept giving. Higher salary, noble titles, even married him to his own mistress. But it was never enough. Basilius convinced Michael to murder his own uncle, Bardas, the head of the army, claiming he was dangerous. Once Bardas was gone, Basilius controlled the army. Soon, he controlled everything. And when Michael finally asked Basilius to repay some debts, the response was arrogance, not gratitude. Shortly after, Michael III was murdered. Basilius paraded through the streets, holding the head of his former best friend on a spear. Michael's mistake was simple and deadly. He believed gratitude lasts forever. But humans don't see gifts the way we think they do. They don't feel loyalty, they feel burdened. Basilius didn't feel grateful, he felt constrained. And worst of all, Michael never suspected betrayal, because nobody believes a friend can destroy them. That blindness is what killed him. Now let's flip the story. For centuries, Chinese emperors were overthrown by their own generals. Friendship in the army meant danger. In 959 AD, General Chao Kuang-ying became Emperor Sung, and he decided to end this cycle. Instead of killing his generals, he invited them to a banquet. Once they were drunk, he confessed his fear that one day they might seize his throne. Then he offered them riches, estates, and comfortable retirements. No blood, no executions. The next morning, every general resigned. Sung had turned wolves into lambs. But here's the real genius. Instead of trusting friends, he trusted former enemies. When a rebel king surrendered, Sung treated him with honor. He even drank from a cup the rebel feared was poisoned, proving trust. That enemy became one of his most loyal supporters. Another conspirator was caught plotting against him. Instead of punishment, Sung handed him the evidence of his own betrayal and spared him. That man never betrayed him again. Sung's dynasty ruled China for 300 years. Sung understood something rare. Friends feel entitled. Enemies feel indebted. A friend thinks, I deserve this. An enemy thinks, I must prove myself. Gratitude born from mercy is far stronger than loyalty born from friendship. Why friends are dangerous. Friends are not always what they seem. In the world of power, they can quietly become your greatest threat. On the surface, they laugh at your jokes, celebrate your victories, and give advice when asked. But behind that friendly smile, envy, resentment, and ambition can be hiding, waiting for the right moment. Think about Michael III. He trusted Basilius, raised him from a peasant to a man of power, gave him wealth, education, and status. He believed friendship and gratitude would guarantee loyalty. But as Basilius gained more, his ambition quietly grew. Gratitude turned into entitlement, loyalty turned into calculation. Michael's trust blinded him, and in the end, it cost him his life. Favors can poison relationships. Every gift, every act of generosity can weigh heavily on a friend, creating subtle resentment. What you see as kindness may be perceived as obligation, even manipulation. Over time, envy can build, quietly turning a friend into a rival. Friendship also clouds judgment. In matters of power, decisions must be made based on competence and reliability, not personal affection. Emotional attachment can obscure reality, making mistakes inevitable. Those we love most can also be the ones we trust least, because the closer they are, the more they can hurt. In short, friends hide envy, build resentment, and blur judgment. They can silently become your worst enemies if you let emotion override clarity. Why enemies are useful. Enemies, on the other hand, can be surprisingly useful. They are often more reliable than friends, because they have everything to prove. A former enemy works harder, stays alert, and approaches the relationship with focus and discipline. Talleyrand, the French diplomat, partnered with his sworn enemy Fouché against Napoleon, and their cooperation was purely strategic, powerful, and precise. Enemies keep you sharp. Without opposition, we become complacent. Enemies challenge our assumptions, test our ideas, and force us to stay vigilant. Mao believed that conflict is necessary for strength. A worthy opponent pushes you to grow, to sharpen your mind, and to strengthen your position. Unlike friends, enemies show their intentions clearly. You know where you stand with them, making it easier to plan, to predict, and to act. And sometimes, when treated with respect or mercy, a former enemy becomes a loyal ally. Emperor Sung of China turned rebels into trusted officials. Gratitude and respect earned from sparing or rewarding an enemy often creates stronger bonds than friendship ever could. In the world of power, nothing is permanent. Nothing is safe. Friendship can turn into hatred. Gratitude can turn into envy. If you don't control it, it will destroy you. This is law number 2 of the 48 laws of power. Trust carefully, choose wisely, and never forget, your friend may love you, but your enemy is watching you.